Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the books that are coming out in September. And I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did last month because I think you guys like that, where I go by actual genre. And of course I'm linking the timestamps below, and then also a link to my storefront where you can see all of the September books in one place. Also, this time at the end, I'm gonna have a designated section for holiday books. I know we're still in August right now, but these holiday books are starting to come out, so I figured I'm going to be introducing them as well. But enough of me blabbering, let's jump into it. All right, starting with Hot Desk, and this seems to be a workplace romance. In the post-pandemic publishing industry, two rival editors are forced to share a hot desk on different days of the week. Okay, so it's set in publishing, which I immediately like. It also says it's younger meets writers and lovers. I haven't heard of writers and lovers before, but I love the show Younger. Highly recommend you check that out, just as a side note. This seems to be like an enemies to lovers, workplace romance. Could be interesting. Then we get Sweet Heat, and this is by the same author who wrote Honey and Spice, and I guess this is now a series because it says Honey and Spice #2. Haven't read Honey and Spice yet. I think this was a Reese Witherspoon's book club pick. So it seems to be very popular. And this one here says it's a second chance romance. So next up we have the first fall themed romance here called If It Makes You Happy. The cover looks really cute, not gonna lie. And this is set in a small town, and our main character in here is taking over her mom's bed and breakfast. I mean, just looking at the cover and reading the synopsis, it sounds like it's gonna be a Hallmark movie, but in book form. Next up, we have a young adult book by invitation only, and judging by the cover, this is gonna be some sort of like Gossip Girl type of book. Yeah, it's talking about a very exclusive debutante ball in Paris. And then it sounds like there's gonna be some cattiness going on too. So that sounds like Gossip Girl means Mean Girls maybe, but I'm interested. Next up we have Vienne, and this is actually a prequel to the very, very popular book and movie Chocolat. So since this is a prequel, this is following the main character before she opens her store. Next up is Whatever Happened to Lori Lovely, and this is a historical fiction. In 1969, 23-year-old starlet Lori Lovely, the apple of Hollywood's eye, shocks the world by ditching a promising film career to take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience as a Benedictine nun. Oh, okay, and then it also has a second timeline in the 90s. Yeah, I think that sounds good. Then we have Sympathy Tower Tokyo. Welcome to the Japan of tomorrow. Here, the practice of a radical sympathy toward criminals has become the norm, and a grand skyscraper in the heart of Tokyo is planned to house wrongdoers in compassionate comfort. It's also saying that it was awarded Japan's highest literary prize. Then we have The Elements. And this book is doing something that I really like, which is where you have different stories that are interconnected. The narrative follows a mother on the run from her past, a young soccer star facing a trial, a successful surgeon grappling with childhood trauma, and a father on a transformative journey with his son. Each is somehow connected to the next, and as the story unfolds, their lives intersect with unimaginable ways. I love those kinds of books, and this also reminds me of the movie The Crash. I think it won a few Oscars too, if I remember correctly, but yeah, this sounds really good. Then we have Little Movements. A woman who must figure out whether being creatively fulfilled is compatible with being happily married, and what it means to be a Black artist in one of the widest parts of America. Insightful story that explores issues of race, class, art, and ambition. It is a novel about self-discovery, the pressures placed on certain bodies, and never giving up on your dream. And our main character here wanted to have a career in dance, and then in order to pursue that, she moves to Vermont and leaves everything behind, including her husband. Interesting. Next up, Middle Spoon. Oh, interesting. And this is talking about polyamorous relationships. I feel like that's a topic that you usually don't really read about. Next up is The Gingerbread Bakery, and I know a lot of people are excited for this one. I still haven't read that pumpkin spice book, but I think this is a spicy romance, isn't it? Because I don't really read spicy romances. And it says, a wedding in Dream Harbor can only mean one thing: everyone wants to get involved. This is an enemies to lovers romance. Next up is The Academy, and this is actually written by Elin Hilderbrand and her daughter. Quite interesting. #1 bestselling author Elin Hilderbrand teams up with her daughter Shelby Cunningham to deliver a dishy, page-turning novel following an intertwined cast of characters over the course of one drama-filled year at a New England boarding school. Reading about this, it sounds like it's gonna be a cozy fall story. I mean, the picture, setting in New England, yeah. Then we have the Healing Hippo of Hinode Park. Nestled at the bottom of a 5-story apartment block in the community of Advance Hill is the children's playground in Hinode Park, where you will find a very special age-old hippie ride named Kabahiko. According to urban legend, if you touch the exact part of the hippo where you have an ailment or wound, you will see swift signs of recovery. They call it Healing Hippo. This is also a book by a Japanese author, just like the Sympathy Tower that we just talked about. And this sounds pretty good. Then we have another highly anticipated release, We Love You, Bunny. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I DNF Bunny. And this was a few years ago, but honestly, I feel like I wasn't really in the mindset of reading that book because I feel like you need to be in a very specific mood to read that. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited for this one, so this is coming out in September as well. Then we have Best Woman, and this is talking about a woman that is going to be the best woman at her brother's wedding. This is a debut novel, and it's saying that it's a coming-of-age novel. And then we have a book by yet another Japanese author, Dinner at the Night Library. And this one is saying a whimsical, charming novel about a mysterious library in Tokyo that opens after dark following the employees who bond each night over special meals inspired by the books on the shelves. When strange occurrences start happening around the library that may bring the threat of closure, it forces Otoha and the library staff to rethink their entire relationship with work and what they really want in life. I see it's also mentioning that it has magical realism in it. It sounds good. The ratings are not too good though. Now let's kick it off with thrillers. We're going to start with Famous by Blake Crouch. As you may or may not know, Blake is one of my favorite authors. And this book was originally published in, I think, 2010 or around that time. And just looking through this here, it says that it's also going to be a movie with Zac Efron. Honestly, I haven't heard of that yet. Interesting. Part thriller, part surreal horror tale, and part pitch black comedy, Famous is a twisting and twisted tale as only Blake Crouch could deliver. I haven't read Famous yet, but I'm super excited for this. I know this is going to be a great book. And what's up with the rating here, people? And next up we have a book by James Patterson, $1 Billion Ransom. It would take a perfect plan to collect a $1 billion ransom, so here's the plan. 5 members of a billionaire's family in different locations, all kidnapped at the same moment, and so on. This definitely sounds like it's gonna be a fast-paced story. Then another highly anticipated book for a lot of people is The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Da Vinci Code that was also written by Dan Brown. A propulsive, twisty, thought-provoking masterpiece that will entertain readers as only Dan Brown can do. Then we have 7 Reasons to Murder Your Dinner Guests. 7 strangers meet for an anonymously hosted dinner party. As the evening winds down, 7 cards appear, one in front of each of the guests. On each card is a number, the age at which the guests will die. 2 weeks later, one guest is dead at exactly the age the card predicted. Ooh, that sounds really good. And what I like even more is it's saying it's told from the perspectives of each of the 7 guests. And I like those kind of books where you have multiple POVs. Then we have The Grave Artist. A wedding reception is coming to a close in the Hollywood Hills when the blissful day is shattered by the death of one of the newlyweds. Though the incident appears to be an accident, Homeland Security Investigations agent Carmen Sanchez and her partner, security expert Jake Herron, discover that the tragedy is the 3rd in a series of similar deaths and conclude something far more sinister is at play. And then it goes on to say that it is about a serial killer called the Honeymoon Killer, and this is also part of a series. Then we have The Bells, and this is looking like it's dark academia just by judging from the cover. In this richly atmospheric dark academia debut novel, a young woman with a secretive past will risk everything, including her life, to fit in. And this is set at a college in 1951. As Dina begins to piece together the sinister history of Bellerton, her own past threatens to come to light, forcing her to make a dangerous choice. Next up is All This Could Be Yours. And this is talking about an author who's on a book tour. She soon realizes she's being stalked by someone who's obsessed not only with sabotaging her career, but also with destroying her perfect family back home. Stalker story, count me in. Next up is Other People's Houses. And this is about a very affluent neighborhood. And there's someone breaking into these houses and they're saying the burglar is looking for something or someone in particular. And this is also part of a series called DC Morgan. Then we have The Wasp Trap. 6 friends reunite in London to celebrate the life of their recently deceased ex-employer, a professor that brought them together in 1999 to help build a dating website based on psychological testing. Interesting. What is meant to be a night of bittersweet nostalgia soon becomes a twisted and deadly game when the old friends find themselves held at gunpoint. They're given an ultimatum: reveal their darkest secrets to the group or pick each other off one by one. So this sounds like it's going to be a very fast-paced thriller, and I also like that it has the alternating timelines. Next up is A Particularly Nasty Case. So this is set at a hospital, and we have doctors that are starting to die in similar circumstances, and it sounds like there's a killer roaming around. And I feel like I don't really read a lot of thrillers that are set at a hospital. Next is The Wives of Hawthorne Lane. And for this one, I actually have a NetGalley. And after reading the synopsis, it sounds like it's gonna be some Desperate Housewives, but thriller style, so sign me up. Next up is The Killer Question. Sue and Mal Eastwood run an isolated rural pub called The Case is Altered, where a weekly trivia game has revived its flagging fortunes. That is, until a body is found in the nearby river. Soon after, a mysterious new team arrives and shakes up the diverse field of regulars by scoring top marks in every round every week. Meanwhile, Sue and Mal have a secret of their own. Before arriving here, they were caught up in a secret police operation, which meant that they had to leave town, and whatever happened back then seems to have finally caught up with them. Interesting. Then we got A Killer Wedding. Christine can't believe her luck. The iconic Gloria Beaufort, founder of the billion-dollar beauty empire Glow, has personally chosen her to cover her grandson's wedding for Bespoke, the cult fashion magazine that every A-list bride dreams of being featured in. A career-making scoop and a free trip to a castle-turned 5-star hotel on the Emerald Isle. It feels too good to be true because it is. So it sounds like some rich people drama, thriller. Definitely sign me up for that one. Then we have Old Money, and I really like this cover. 20 years ago, 16-year-old Caitlin Dale died unexpectedly on the 4th of July. Like other affluent families of Briars Green, Caitlin joined hers at the country's club's annual party. They say she slipped by the pool, a tragic accident, but her cousin Alice knows the truth. Caitlin was murdered and Alice saw who did it. So once again, rich people drama. I mean, the title says it all, duh. But this sounds interesting. And for horror books, I have one this month, One of Us. It's 1915 and the world is transforming, but for 13-year-old Bolt and Eleanor, twins so close they can literally read each other's minds, life is falling apart. When their mother dies, they are forced to leave home under the care of a vicious con man who claims to be their long-lost Uncle Charlie, the only kin they have left. During a late-night poker game, when one of his rages ends in murder, they decided to flee. And then they go on to join a bizarre traveling carnival. You know, that reminds me of the freak show season in American Horror Story, so I guess this is gonna have similar vibes. And for sci-fi, we have What We Can Know. And this has 2 timelines, one in 2014 and one in the year 2119. So the timeline for 2014 says, a great poem is read aloud and never heard again. For generations, people speculate about its message, but no copy has yet been found. 2119, the lowlands of the UK have been submerged by rising seas. Those who survive are haunted by the richness of the world that has been lost. And here we follow Tom, who is stumbling across clues that may lead to this lost poem from 2014. A story is revealed of entangled loves and a crime that destroy his assumptions about people he thought he knew immediately well. All right, so now we're almost at the end, but before that, I still have a Hallmark Christmas movie section in this video. So we have 4 holiday books coming out in September. The first one is You Make It Feel Like Christmas. All bets are off when a single-minded photographer and a professional hockey player are forced to spend a week together on his sister's Christmas tree farm, perfect for fans of Jenny Holiday and Maggie Knox. Then we have A Spell for Midwinter's Heart, and this is talking about a witch returning home for a winter festival. So it sounds like this is going to be a little bit of a romance and fantasy. And then we have Christmas at the Ranch, a swoony second chance holiday romance about a woman who escapes family scandal in the city by fleeing to Evergreen Lake for Christmas, where she first found love and heartbreak at Wilder Ranch. And I will say that second chance romance is a top trope for me. And lastly, we have Christmas People. And this honestly sounds like it's the most interesting out of the holiday books in September, because this is talking about how one day a woman wakes up and she is stuck in a movie. And it's saying the only way out of this bizarro world is to complete the plot of the movie, including a holiday bake-off and a cookie-sweet love story. To get home in time for Christmas, Jill must act out a picture-perfect holiday romance with the one that got away, all while her ex watches on. Fa la 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 freaking la. I think this is a pretty good spin on like the classic Christmas holiday type of book. All right, and that's going to be it for this video. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if any of these books made it on your TBR. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.